Hello War Gamers, Invasive Randomness has invited me to create some content for his channel, and I'll be talking about the Blood Angels. I did a different version of this video, but it got really long because the introduction itself took a while, so that's what this video is going to be. So the Blood Angels aren't really in a great spot in 7th edition, and they weren't in 6th edition. It's a bit better now because of the inclusion of the Psychic Phase and some of the buffs to vehicles. But it's still not great. And most of those are just because their codex is from a different era, and some of the, I guess, standard, assumptions from 5th edition no longer apply. And that's kind of holding them back from being the army they could be. That being said, there's still a lot of really good things about them. And for the most part, their problems have been talked to death, and I'm still going to talk about those, but I'm going to try to be really positive about the outlook here, and I'm going to talk about some of the good stuff. With this video, I'm just going to be kind of general about the Blood Angels and what they want to do, especially in 7th edition. So the first two things to realize about the Blood Angels, if you're unfamiliar with them, or if you are kind of familiar with them but not as familiar as you would like to be, is that they have kind of one really awesome special rule and one really bad special rule. And then the other thing is that their points are really high because it's kind of a holdover from 5th edition, and they cost dramatically more than other Space Marine armies do. So on the special rules subject, they have "and they shall know no fear," which is a general special rule now, but in 5th edition it was a Space Marine only sort of thing. And then they have combat squads, which Space Marine armies have. And then they have two rules, the Red Thirst and Descent of Angels. And we're going to start with the Red Thirst because it kind of is a defining element of the Blood Angels, both in fluff and on the tabletop. And the reason is because it's kind of their, dark side when they're, wearing blood red armor and they've got gold filigree all over it, and they've got, they are the pretty Space Marines, if there were any, because they're artists, they like that stuff. And the Red Thirst is the whole, I'm going to bite your neck and, rip it apart with my teeth sort of thing that they sometimes do. And the rule in the game, the way it's applied, is not really very good. It's essentially the Blood Angel, or one half of the Blood Angels chapter tactics, if you're to compare it to Codex Marines, and it only has a 1/6 chance of happening on any given squad. And what it gives you is Furious Charge and Fearless. So that's not bad, but you only get it 1/6 of the time if you're getting it as you're statistically likely to do. And that was better in 5th edition. It still wasn't great, but with the removal of the +1 initiative to Furious Charge, it kind of leaves the Blood Angels in a kind of a rough spot. The Fearless is fine, although "and they shall know no fear" is better in quite a few circumstances, but the Fearless isn't necessarily a bad thing. But overall, the Red Thirst is just kind of a rule. It's just not reliable enough for you to consider it, to be something that's going to affect how you play your army. The other rule is Descent of Angels, and it is awesome. It is so awesome that the Red Thirst is, it can kind of be forgotten about. Descent of Angels is something that entire armies were built around, and probably still are. I haven't seen it, but what it does is it allows you to reroll failed reserve rules if arriving by deep strike, and you scatter only d6 inches instead of 2d6, which is pretty awesome. And the models that have that rule are models with jump packs. And I'll talk more about that rule later because it is one of the defining aspects of Blood Angels. But that's just something that is really awesome, and it isn't a bad idea to build an army around that, especially in 6th and now 7th edition because of the objective-based gameplay. So with that being said, my next video is almost certainly going to be about troop choices for Blood Angels, and then followed that with an HQ video. Just because those are the compulsory choices for an allied detachment or for a combined arms detachment, so you're going to be seeing those whenever you see Blood Angels. So that seems like a great place to start. Other than that, give Invasive Ramnus some upvotes, I guess, whenever you can. Let me know in the comments below what you'd like to hear me talk about, if anything. Let me know what you're curious about. If you even care to hear about the Blood Angels, whatever it might be. Until then, happy wargaming.